But what exactly is President Jammeh's plan of action? And what challenges need to be overcome on the path to transforming the Gambia? I'm Beatrice Marshall. Welcome to Talk Africa. Now, the Gambia is situated on either side of the Gambia River, the nation's namesake, which flows through the center of the country into the Atlantic Ocean. Its liberal, market-based economy is characterized by traditional subsistence agriculture, a historic reliance on peanuts for export, and a re-export trade built up around its ocean port. Before we hear from the country's President Yahya Jammeh, here's a brief overview of the nation of the Gambia.
Surrounded by Senegal on the west coast of Africa, the Gambia extends 338 kilometers from east to west and only 47 kilometers from north to south. After 200 years of British colonial rule, the Gambia gained its independence in 1965, and unlike other countries in the region, has enjoyed long spells of stability ever since. But the stability has not ensured prosperity. Only 1/6 of the land is arable, and poor soil quality has led to the predominance of peanuts over other crops. Tourism is a vital source of income for the nation, with most visitors drawn to the resorts that occupy a stretch of the Atlantic Ocean. While the Gambia is one of Africa's smallest nations, it's also amongst its poorest, ranking 168th out of 187 countries in the United Nations Development Programme's 2011 Human Development Index. Poverty is widespread, pervasive and predominantly rural. And it's for this reason that President Yahya Jammeh, who has been at the helm of the country since 1994, launched his Vision 2020 for the country. The vision seeks to transform the Gambia into a dynamic middle-income country, socially, economically and scientifically, over a 25-year period. It sets out the broad outline of policies to facilitate this through 6 major activity areas: agriculture, industry, trade, tourism, financial services and human resource development. Through this plan, Jammeh and his government hope to harness the strength and potentials of the country for national socio-economic advancement.
Now, in March this year, foreign ministers of China and the Gambia signed a joint communique to resume diplomatic ties in Beijing. And the two countries have now resumed diplomatic relations at the ambassadorial level. And with the launch of Vision 2020, these are exactly the kind of international ties that President Yahya Jammeh is hoping to attract in order to transform the West African nation. CCTV Africa recently visited the Gambia to speak to President Jammeh about his vision of transformation.
March this year is very significant because Gambia and China resumed the diplomatic relationship, and China also supports Gambia's effort in safeguarding its national sovereignty. So, Your Excellency, do you think that the two countries can further strengthen the political mutual trust and have more coordination and cooperation in regional and international affairs?
Tourism is the best school for cultural exchange. Most of the time we have most of the problems that we have today are thanks to lack of knowledge of each other's culture, lack of understanding of each other's culture. Through tourism, we learn about each other's culture. You see people in their natural setting, the way they live, we understand each other. Then we build friendship. Friendship that is built from the grassroots upwards will be a solid foundation for lasting world peace. It's not friendship at the level of government. The government come and go, but the people stay. So tourism is very important in building a solid foundation for human peaceful coexistence, cultural understanding and mutual respect. So tourism is a very important aspect, as far as I'm concerned, of human activity. Not only the economic benefit that it brings, but more importantly, remember that no matter how developed a country is, a few weeks of, for example, maybe take 5 years to build something, and it takes 5 seconds for a rocket to demolish it. But if there is cultural understanding, there's mutual respect at the grassroots level that elect governments, I think there is great hope for lasting world peace. So I want to see all the people of the world come to the Gambia, the Smiling Coast, and also find out why we are called the Smiling Coast. I wouldn't answer that question if I'm asked, because I always want people to find out for themselves. So we want to see not only Chinese tourists coming to it, but we also want to see Chinese industrialists come and establish industries in Gambia and in the tourism sector, because it's very important. Yes. So Chinese are welcome, and they will always be welcome, because relationship between the two governments can be excellent, but what is more important, it has to go down to the people. I want a bottom-up building of relations than top-bottom building of relationship. You don't start a house from the roof, right? You start from the foundation down, and that is what we want. We want a very long-term, everlasting relationship with your great country. You've done so much for Africa. You've done so much for the Gambia. And so we can always count on you. You can always count on us.
We're going to take a short break now, but when we return, my expert guests will help further unpack the process of transforming the Gambia. To stay with us. Welcome back to Talk Africa. Now we continue our discussion on the transformation of the Gambia, and to add further insights, I have expert guests standing by. In Lagos, African Affairs analyst Achike Chude. In Beijing, Professor Ho Wenping. She's a research fellow at the Institute of West Asian and African Studies. And with me in Nairobi, Dr. Bob Wekesa. He's a postdoctoral fellow at the Wits University in Johannesburg. To you all, welcome to the program. Achike Chude in Lagos, let me start off with you. Give us an overview of the Gambia, though, because the Gambia is Africa's smallest country. It doesn't have much in the way of agriculture. It doesn't have much in the way of mineral resources. What are the prospects, though, for the Gambia?
Well, the Gambia, just like every other country that is evolving, would always have prospects. You have a people that are vibrant. You have a political leadership, at least on the basis of the 2020 vision, that seems to be interested in where Gambia will be in the next many years to come. And so I think that there is a very great prospect. We've had some level of political stability. Yahya Jammeh has been in power for quite some time. That shows some consistency, in the politics of that particular country. And if all the other dynamics, economic, social, and political dynamics go well, then they would enjoy the fruits of the consistency of his stay in power. So it is a country that is still evolving. And like I said, with regards to the 2020 vision, they seem to know exactly where they are going. But whether they are going to be able to achieve that is a completely different thing. But it would appear that the government is trying to galvanize the people towards achieving set goals and objectives. And if they are able to do that, then really they can succeed in taking Gambia to the very next level.
Dr. Wekesa, though, it was Vision 2020 in 1996, and we are still, as we've heard from Achike Chude, waiting on the country to evolve. Your views, though, on their Vision 2020?
No, like you rightly put it, the Vision 2020 has been around for 20 years, and now there's just 4 years to go. In my view, perhaps while the vision, as like all visions, is a dream and of optimism for the future, it perhaps needs to be reworked. I think there's need for realism to the fact that this is a blueprint that was developed some 20 years ago, and it's now just 4 years to the duration during which it was supposed to have been accomplished. So I think there's need to rework it in terms of what are the new realities, global and internal to Gambia, what has changed that makes the need for revising it to update it to the current times.
Well, Professor Ho Ping, though China recently re-established ties with the Gambia, it is Africa's smallest country. One has to ask, what is in it for China?
Well, yeah, even though the Gambia is the smallest country in the African continent, but it is still very important. You can see its strategic location. I think it's also on the way. Now China talk about the 21st century maritime Silk Road. I think this also links all the way to the coast countries around those Western African countries. So with this restore of the relationship, diplomatic relationship, I think China now is willing to offer this economic help for Gambia to help them to realize this 2020 vision. Even though now there's only 4 years to go, a lot of missions needs to be finalized. So I think first of all, I heard that Chinese company now is willing to help Gambia to improve the energy supply program around the capital city Banjul, and with those energy power improvement, that will help a lot for people their daily life and also for their manufacturing industry, and also like infrastructure and the road, and even trying to help them to establish those aviation flights to link Banjul with the neighboring countries like Senegal, Nigeria. I think also medical care.
Right.
We all know in the year 2014, the Gambia's economy has suffered a lot by this Ebola disease, and also with other like drought. So this is very fragile economy. So
right.
we help them to build on their health system.
Ashika Chuda, let me just come back to what Professor Ho Ping has mentioned there, the strategic location of the Gambia, strategically placed on the west coast, and it could be ideally a trade hub for that region, but it isn't. What is hindering the Gambia?
Yes, I think that is, I think the government recognizes that the fact that it has not been able to actually take Gambia to the next level. I know that they are desirous of turning Gambia into a financial center, a tourist paradise in their own words, and a place where exports of manufactured products from factories and then the agricultural sector it becomes an export hub within the West African sub-region. But it has not, over the years, has not been able to achieve all of these goals. And I want to believe that it is because those who operate the political economy of Gambia have not exactly been very consistent, in putting their words into action. Every country has great opportunities and potentials, and the potentials are there. When you talk about the ecosystem, the marine life, the sea, the sea. These are things that elements of power, one would say, that are very critical in ensuring, national power, and so they need to do much more than they have done in the past, because, like we said, geographically, Gambia is in a very, very good, has a very good location, and if they are able to get their acts right, mobilize the people towards, having a positive national focus, there's always that possibility that they could actually transform, the Gambia into a into a trade hub within, that particular region of the subcontinent.
Dr. Wekesa, though the Gambia is not alone in Africa in being a small economy with lack of resources, lack of mineral resources, that is struggling to get by. 50 years down the line, though, after the independence of many African countries, how should we be looking at these countries? What is it that these countries need to do to take themselves to their next phases?
No, I think one is the fact that in terms of countries not having certain resources, like mineral resources, doesn't mean they don't have resources at all. To start with, quite a good number of countries just rely on the human resource alone. So, and the Gambia in this respect is endowed with a very good tourist endowments. It has a very good agricultural land. It's actually the economy that relies quite a lot on things like